I have no idea if anyone can hear me yet, but it always takes me a little while to get this set up. So, oh, one person watching. Let's have a look. 5 people watching. I hope I'm interesting at the moment. How is that looking? First, let's adjust the camera. One second. You can see that I'm like one of the least professional YouTubers. Normally people got this all set up, you know, they've got their own like microphones. I just barely get this going. Because I do it on my phone and I have like literally the world's oldest laptop to try to work off of. So let's have a look. That's close up. It is so hot here. You can literally see that my hair is melting. I did it. This is, I think, the 3rd time that I've done it today, and it will probably continue to melt gradually as we go through this, which will be entertaining. Our 2 please arrived. You know, it's good to see you. You don't always make it, but I know for some reason you don't always get notifications. But obviously this time you did, so that's good. I'm going to leave the camera as it is. Can everyone hear me okay? See if how I get the... Marcus Reef, thank you, you're running late. You know, if I wasn't live, you might not get to see me at all, so... Yes, we can hear. Right, I didn't have time, / I didn't feel like making a video today, so I thought I don't want to let you down, so I've decided to go live for you. A lot of people, when I don't post for a week, then send me a message asking if I'm dead. So this is obviously proving that I'm not. As I said, at the moment it is so hot here for England. I think it's currently in my house, I think 33 degrees. So that's been some fun with the tanks. And for people in America, I think that's about 91 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can see probably that I am visibly sweating, but I didn't want to let you down. So I thought I'd come on, see how long it lasts for. All the windows are open, which means my neighbours can hear me. Although when you are the guy with the coral farm, talking to yourself is almost expected, I think, from them. So, so I don't think they'll think it anything odd that I'm sitting here talking to myself at, I think it's 8:30 at night, I'm not even sure what time it is. He is dead, this is pre-recorded. Well, I just interacted with you, Code Cracker, so then it can't be pre-recorded. The other thing a lot of people are asking is for an update on the mega build. I actually don't have a huge update for you. The reason I have a huge update for you is because there have been 3 issues, or there have been 3 issues, which has stopped the progression. And on top of that, James, the person who's been building it, has gone away to Malta until the 6th of September, which is, and then obviously after that he comes back. And then once he's back, he'll start doing it again. So yeah, I basically wanted to come on here just to see if you had any questions that I could try and answer, which I've got. There are a few questions that people often ask me, which I can answer today. But yeah, I also just wanted to just interact with you guys. I can give you a little update on the Red Sea tank. I'm just here to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm going to try and make it an hour, but as usual, we'll see how it goes. And then yeah. So as I said, let's start with the mega build. So the 3 issues that I have at the moment, well, maybe 4 issues, 5 including James. Okay, so James is the first issue. James obviously is critical with regards to the progress of the mega build, because he's obviously the one doing all the pipe work. And also Dave Dave obviously you've seen from the videos works with him. He is currently doing an architecture course in Malta, but yeah, as I said, he will be back on the 6th of September, and then I believe immediately after he's back, he'll be coming here almost straight away. The second issue is that there are 2 more tanks which need to be made, which are currently in the process of being made. One of them is quite difficult to make because it's not a normal tank shape. So obviously most tanks are square. I'm going to be very professional now. I'm going to draw on a piece of paper for you so that it fits in with the stand. One of the tanks has to be made like this. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if you can see that. Oh. You should be able to see it. Yeah, so one of the tanks has to be made like this, where it has like a cut in. This is because the leg of each stand goes here and here. So that needs quite a specialist glass to make apparently. So that's the reason that one's taking so long. The other one that's being made is identical to the ones that's being made already. So that's the second issue. I get to see myself on the screen about 15 seconds later, and I love how professional that was. So that's the second issue. The third issue, which has now been resolved, was there was a couple of minor leaks with the pipework, which was, look, it's to be expected. There are 800 connections, I believe, which obviously naturally there will be a couple of pinhole leaks, and there were, but that has now been resolved, so that's not a problem. The biggest issue, which was huge, and I didn't film it, which I now wish that I did film it, was that one of the stands wasn't level. Now obviously we put the tanks on, we put the pipework's all solvent welded in, it's all siliconed in, so to have, when I filled it with water and the water level was like, it was about this, it was reasonably far out. And look, it wasn't a problem. Luke immediately said, I'll come back and fix it for you, which he did. But to fix it, we had to literally jack the tanks up. As I said, I wish I'd filmed it, although it was I didn't want to distract anyone. I was part of the process. I didn't want to be distracted myself. So it was stressful, but we had to literally lift the stands up with a jack and then cut the bottoms off 2 of the sides, like different amounts, just to make it perfectly level, and then gradually lower it back down, with all the tanks still on it, with all the pipework still on it. Luckily, we did it. It wasn't a problem. I feel like I lost a few years of my life from stress while doing that, but you get through these things. Any business has issues. All businesses have issues, and I know this is obviously taking a little bit longer than expected. It's taking longer than expected for me as well, because other than the last thing, which is again, it's only a minor issue, and they're actually coming out to fix it on Tuesday. The dry weirs leak. So the weirs where the MP40 is going in, they just let a little tiny bit of water through. It's not a big deal. I told the tank manufacturers, as I said, they go, not a problem, we'll come out. So they're coming out on Tuesday. So in theory, after Tuesday, I will be able to have the first system fully up and running. And then once the first system's up and running and the second lot of tanks arrive, which should be, by then James will be back. James can fit those in, we can have the second system up and running, so that's good. As I said, while I'm talking, if you have any questions, I'm not actually looking at any of the comments at the moment, but I will. So if you have any questions, put them in the obviously the comment section. I will come back to you. But yeah, it's definitely been an adventure. It's absolutely been an adventure, and it's getting there. It's getting there. It's like I'm this close. I can't wait. I literally cannot wait to break down my 1,000 litre tank. I know it sounds like a strange thing to say, but my 1,000 litre tank is at my parents' house. There is a reason that you hardly ever see it, or you basically haven't seen an updated video for a long time, which I'll cover in a minute, but I have to go back to my parents' house every single day to check the fish, to make sure everything's running correctly, check the fish, to feed the fish. And then I go back once a week on a Sunday, which is what I did today, to do a water change, and then top up all the reagents, the dosing solutions, anything like that basically is what I, so I look forward to not having to go from work to my parents' house just to feed the fish. Now, although they would do it for me, it's more of a, it's my responsibility. I remember when I very first got a fish tank, I was 18, and they said to me, you can have this tank. Actually, they didn't specifically say you can have this tank. Some of you will have heard this story before. They went on holiday. They told me I could have a fish tank, and they didn't specify the size. What I did was I took the computer. We had like a desktop computer at the time, which obviously not a lot of people have anymore. And a desk in the study, and I took the desk and the computer out of the study, and I replaced it with a 5-foot, 400 litre fish tank before my parents could get home. There was a slight issue, and I knew this before they were going. They took my entire family, and I didn't want to go specifically for this reason. There was a slight issue, which this is a bit of the story that people don't know. About 3 days into their holiday, because they went to Italy, they were on a small charter plane, basically, and the plane's engine caught fire, and they had to do an emergency landing. And after that, my parents went, right, it's time to go home. So although I planned to have everything, the fish tank was in place and it was set up, but it wasn't where I wanted it to be for them to come back because it didn't have anything in it. So obviously they could have stripped it down, and they told me how to get rid of it, but they didn't. They're kind of used to me being like this, if I'm honest. I wasn't the easiest child, apparently, from what I've been told. I always maintained that I was too smart for them, but yeah. So that's how I started. But the condition of getting the fish tank, this is where I started, was they said to me, if you ever neglect it, even for a day. This was when I was 18. If you neglect it, we will get rid of it. And that has stuck in me ever since they very first said that. And I never let them down. Right from the very beginning, I made mistakes, as everyone does, but I tried my best. So yeah, that's that story. Let me have a quick look to see who's in. Oh, George is from Italy, so there you go. Do you have a lot of planes in Italy, George, that go down? I am. I'm a long way back in the. I'm a long way back, I think, in the thing. Master Marine's here. Welcome. Master Marine's one of my Patreons. I can't thank my patrons enough, because even through the pandemic, the people that support on Patreon significantly reduced, which I understand. Everyone has less money at the moment. So it's the people that are still supporting me, even through all this, whether it's $1 or $10 or anything, I really, really appreciate it, because it genuinely does make a massive difference. It's like when you go to a restaurant and you tip your waiter because you like your waiter. Although in America, I believe you tip your waiter because you're meant to, otherwise it's rude. But in England, it's slightly different. But yeah, it really is greatly appreciated. Is the system wet yet? The system has been wet several times. It has been filled up and then drained, and then filled up and then drained, because of the issues I mentioned a minute ago. It currently is empty. It works perfectly. It works really well when it's obviously running. Other than the minor issues, it works. I love what they've done. I love that you turn a valve and it fills up with water. I love that all the tanks are connected to the RO container. So there is literally no heavy lifting with that system at all. There's a drain at the bottom, so you turn one drain. Obviously, if you've seen the videos, you'll know this. You turn one valve and it drains it down the waste, and then you turn another valve and it fills up with water. It's like it cannot be easier, and that's exactly what I needed, because I really, really want a system which doesn't cause me a lot of hassle. So I've, although it's not got obviously water in at the moment, I am at the stage where I'm starting to collect corals. So like additional corals, interesting corals. So if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I picked up a mushroom, which I actually thought was an interstellar mushroom. But it actually has a green base. It's down here somewhere. Yeah, it's down here. It actually has it's got sort of like orange balls and a green base, but it only shows that under certain lights. It has to be really, really quite intense blue. Under this light, which is, I'm running the Red Sea LEDs 100% blue and 50% white at the moment. That's not the setting they're normally on. At the moment, some of the corals probably will be closed up because it's normally in like nighttime mode, but it's not as good for you to see. So it's not as good. And the other thing is they're reasonably hot at the moment. I've got a fan at the top, which you may be able to see. Let me see if you can see that. Yes, I do. That has been an absolute lifesaver because it reduces the water temperature by about 2 degrees. So it's earlier before I put it on, the heat caught me out a little bit. I'll be honest. I did have a couple of SPS strip. These things happen. I have replacements for them, so it's not a massive issue because I've got them in my other tank. But yeah, I was caught off guard, which I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be because temperature has always been like my nemesis. And on the other tank now it has a chiller, and in the mega build it has air conditioning, but in this room it doesn't, which is why it caught me off guard. One day I didn't actually know what the temperature was going to be. I went to work and then I came back and the Proflux was going crazy, and I think it was like 28.5 or something. I think it was about 28.5, and it's usually kept on the cooler side, about 24 degrees usually. It wasn't the Proflux's fault. I'll be honest with you, because I hadn't set up the notifications. So it's got a little flashing icon on top where it flashes red, something wrong. But because I hadn't set up the notifications, then it didn't notify me. Otherwise, it would have done. And that's my own sort of laziness. Not laziness. There's plenty of things to do, and I just didn't get around to doing it. I have, however, set up the KH director on both this tank and my tank at home, and I absolutely love it. I know one other YouTuber hasn't had quite the same experience. I also know why they don't have the same experience, and it's because I believe they tried to set up on their phone. Whereas if you set up on a computer, it's much, much easier. I believe you can set up on both, but it is without a doubt. This is so many people have sent me a request saying, do one of your unboxings for the cage directors, and I will do one. I might do it next week, but so many people want an update on that since seeing it. It genuinely, for me, because I tested KH reasonably frequently, every 2 days, if not every day. It's probably the best piece of equipment that I have ever bought. It is the so I have it set so it will test. You can have it set to test as many times as you want, but I have it set so that it just tests once a day at 6:30 in the morning, and then when I wake up, see it on my phone, I know all's good. And that's I can't fault it at the moment, if I'm honest. I can see that there are 86 people in, 24 likes, I'm sure we can do better than that. So I've just, I like 27, I'll just click the like button as well. You see, I forget too sometimes, so, I can forgive you. So, but 28, there you go. Sometimes you just have to ask the question, there's all these nice people out there. Let's move on to the next thing. I'm in the same boat, no power and running the tank with a car lighter outlet. connection. The only thing is the temp is rising, but still on the safe side. This one's come down to 26 degrees now, or 25.5, 26 degrees. So, which, although as I said, I run this one at 24, my tank at home I run at 26. So I was interested to see the difference with regards to growth rate. The temperature of the system in the garage, obviously the mega build, is going to be 25.5. So I'm going for somewhere in the middle. I thought we'll go for like a mid-range. Look how meaty that powder blue is. I've had this powder blue for years. And it also came from one of my friend's tank before I had it. So I think she has got to be at least, has been in captivity at least 6 years, which is pretty good going for a powder blue Tang, because it's not, they obviously don't have the highest success rate. Yes, I always love it. I've got my first dislike, you know. What I love to tell people is it's better to not dislike or like, because then YouTube doesn't see any engagement. YouTube feeds off engagement, it loves it. So if you click like or dislike on any of my videos, thank you. because YouTube sees that and it goes, someone either enjoyed or didn't enjoy this video enough to interact with the screen, and that's what they love. The other thing, because you'll notice one of the most shared videos was, I believe it's called Rebecca Black, It's Friday, which was a truly awful song, and it has had millions and millions of views, and it's got something like, it's got hundreds of thousands of dislikes. So for everyone who dislikes the video, thank you. Let me have a quick look, and they're actually genuinely, as far as I know, there is no difference between people disliking or liking it. Let's move down. You thought of feeding hatch brine shrimp. Have you? I have gone through the process of feeding hatch brine shrimp back when I was breeding Bangai cardinals. It's for me. They're too much hassle. If you watch my really early videos, you would have seen that what I actually did was I tried to avoid feeding hatch brine shrimp altogether with the newly born fry of Bangai cardinals, and I started to feed them frozen rotifers. If you're one of those people that watched that video when it first came out, put a comment in it, because obviously you've been here for a long time now, so I need to know your names. But yeah, so what I did with that is I got the old jellyfish tank, and I put the fry in that, and I connected it to the 1,000-litre tank, so the water quality was always perfect. And then I put frozen rotifers in there. Now, when I tried feeding them frozen rotifers, just dropping them in, they weren't interested. But because the jellyfish tank is a chrysal tank, it makes the food constantly suspended, because that's what jellyfish need. So the Bangai fry would then go and eat it. And I did manage to successfully raise Bangais from doing that. It just wasn't as successful as if I was breeding and hatching new baby brine shrimp. So it's not something that I plan to do. I will have automated feeding on there. It's likely that I will have multiple different forms of automated feeding. Those of you who watched my last video, I would have seen the Red Sea coral food. I love that because, not because obviously I work them with the tank or anything. The reason I love it is because it doesn't need to be refrigerated, which means it can be dosed. Now, most coral foods can't be dosed because they either need to be kept refrigerated, and there are ways of keeping them refrigerated. Some people use wine coolers, which is an option, but the fact that I don't need to refrigerate it means I can put it into what are they called? Can't remember what they're called now. One of those little science jug things. I've already ordered them. I'm going to bring my drawing thing back out now. I'm sure I did this on the last video where I couldn't remember the name of this. Conical flask. You don't get to see my drawings. Yes, I can put it into a conical flask and then dose it using the dosing pumps. And then all I've got to do is fill up the conical flask once a week. As I said, everything on that build is low maintenance because a lot of companies, do, or a lot of people do this, where they try and grow coral, and there's a lot of water changes involved, and there's a lot of manual handling, and I just think, if I'm going to do it, I want to get it right from the beginning so that I enjoy what I'm doing rather than it being just another job, because that's part of what the problem with YouTube has happened for me. It's oops, sorry. I bought the YouTube channel back because I really, really loved it. Like, I really loved it. And it has recently got to the stage, which is why you'll notice I haven't posted as many videos the last couple of weeks, where if you do anything because you have to, or you do anything because you feel you have to, because YouTube's like a treadmill. It makes you constantly post videos, because what happens is every time you post a video, your other videos go up, and then you gradually go down. And then when it goes up and then down, and it's like being on a treadmill where they force you to put out a video every single week. Otherwise they penalise you. And because of that, it almost became a job, and it wasn't fun. So I took a couple of weeks off. Then I came back last week, and then I didn't particularly massively want to do a video this week because it was so hot. It's been so hot the last couple of days, and I've also been busy at work. And I want to do it because I love it, like I used to, and I want to get that feeling back. And I don't know how to get that feeling back, but someone who may or may not be in the chat at the moment, the chances are they probably aren't in the chat at the moment, they sent me a message earlier on Instagram, and it was like the nicest message, where someone just went, like, you don't need to come back to me, basically. I can't quite remember what they said, but they just said, I just wanted to let you know, like, I really appreciate what you do. And it made me feel good. Because you get plenty of people that send you messages going, you share. Trust me. I actually found a forum about me. One of the forum threads about me yesterday, it was from like 2018, which I'd never seen. I found it, as I said, yesterday, and it wasn't too bad. I mentioned in one of the videos something about white spot, and it wasn't accurate. It was just that I suggested copper as a treatment for white spot, which is obviously a treatment for white spot. But I didn't mention various other treatments for white spot as well, and that has annoyed someone enough to create a thread about me. So it's I'm obviously a popular. I didn't care. I didn't make it like you get used to this. You get a thick shell. But yeah, as I said, I lost a little bit of love. I'm trying to get it back. I will get it back, and it's not just me. It happens to many other YouTubers as well. Both people much bigger than me, and also other fish YouTubers as well. Every so often, one of us will go missing, and it's just because creating content for you guys is it's personal. It's like you try and do the best you can, and if you start putting out content which isn't as good, because you either become lazy or complacent, you lose your love of it. So I have no idea how I went off on a tangent that far, but that's obviously one of the reasons that I have been missing recently. But I wanted to come back today, and I'm glad I have. I was genuinely nervous. It takes guts to come on here and talk to 96 people. It sounds stupid, but before I do this every time, it makes me nervous. And then once you get going, you just start rambling, and people listen to you for some reason. I have no idea why, but I must be saying something of interest. So let's have a look further down the comments. Surely they should have finished the mega build before going away for a month. Sounds unprofessional. They were always going away. I had the choice to either start it now or start it in September, and I said, look, let's get most of it done now, and then we'll get it done in September. And it's only 6 weeks, and it was booked long before the mega build was even thought of. This project has been going for a year now, so that is 100% incorrect. They're not even remotely unprofessional. James especially has been exceptional Actually, the Polyp Pros put out something on their page, which was where James is. There's actually an oil spill at the moment, and it's quite a personal place to James. So I shared it on my Facebook page. So if you've seen that and you want to help share it or anything, because he sent me a message saying, "Can you share this for me?" So which obviously I did. And if you could do the same, then obviously it shows the support. It's a very little thing to do. Right, people in the UK visit web. Thank you too, please. I can't believe I'm only this far in. So if your comments are down, we might be here for a while. Will you ship coral within the EU, Sweetleaf, in the future? Providing everything goes okay with our relationship with the European Union, and I still will be able to, and they'll still be able to accept packages from us, which can arrive next day, there is no reason that I won't ship to Europe. It would be foolish of me not to. I will have to perfect the shipping methods slightly more, because obviously they're in transit for longer, but I just think you just need a bigger box and more heat packs, or in some extent ice packs as well. I've never shipped coral with an ice pack, and at the moment the weather is causing me havoc, because what happens is the corals go without heat packs, and it's only happened once, but when I say havoc, it's like it makes me nervous shipping coral at the moment. And someone ordered some coral a couple of days ago, but I didn't want to, I told them I'm not going to ship it until after the heat's gone, because Priscillipora especially seems to struggle with heat. And even if you ship it without heat packs, being in the back of a van when it's 33 degrees outside, it soon overheats. And unfortunately, that has, I had a couple of, all I did was I sent the same coral out again, and the same thing happened again for the same person. So in the end, I would rather refund you your money than it, and the second lot was sent out for free, of course, including shipping was free as well. But I'd rather wait than send you out your money. Is your power bill high with all the setups? I don't know yet. Obviously, without them running, I can't tell. I do have a separate meter in the house, specifically just for the mega build. So I will soon know how juicy it is. I get the thing, the little dial on it will be going as soon as it's probably switched on. Two, please. I just want to say thank you, obviously, for the super chat. It is greatly appreciated. You are always brilliant. I love Two, please. I met him in not literally, but like metaphorically, I guess is probably the right word. But Two, please, I met in person, and he is a genuinely really, really nice guy. And if you ever get a chance to meet with him or interact with him at one of the shows, it's well worth doing, because you don't get people like him every day. I can assure you, you do not get people like that every day. So I really appreciate, obviously, because he also is the moderator for these chats, and he always likes all my videos, comments all my videos, unless you're the guy who dislikes all my videos, and it's all like been a ruse. So I can see my neighbour looking out the window at me sitting here talking to myself. Well, you know, as I said, people know me as the crazy fish guy, so it's would you I'm setting up a new system and we're thinking of using the Red Sea program. How are you finding it so far? It's pretty easy to follow. It depends are you a really experienced reefer? Or are you, because when you say you'll set up a new system, I think it works really, really well for people that are brand new to the hobby, because it gives you a step-by-step guide and it shows you exactly what is happening on what days and what you should do, and it prepares your tank for success. Now, as you know, success is never guaranteed in this hobby. I've been in the hobby for 13 years now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 13. Oh yeah, I'm 31 now. Oh. It's about time I have a midlife crisis. Maybe that's why I'm building the mega build. But it probably is. But yeah, so even someone who's been in the hobby for 13 years still has issues. People like me, people like BRS TV still have issues with some of their tanks. Usually they're less chemical issues and more something like algae or something like that. So obviously those of you that saw one of my previous Red Sea videos, I think it might be the last one, has that one, I obviously had an issue with turf algae. Oh, I know this is really itchy for some reason. Yeah, I had an issue with turf algae, which even that was disheartening for me because I had all these like nice corals in there, and it's disheartening because it doesn't look pretty. I know it goes away. I know you can deal with it, and you'll see how I dealt with it if you watch the video. But it's yeah, it can be disheartening. But with regards to if I would recommend it for a brand new person, absolutely. If you've been in the hobby for a long time, it would have potentially less value to you because a lot of the stuff it teaches you already know. It teaches you how to test your water properly, when you should be testing your water properly. Well, if you've been doing it for a long time like me, you know obviously that you need to test your water, and you know what your parameters should be, and you know that during the cycle you're going to have diatoms and algae, and it's going to die back and things like that. So it really depends where you are. Would you please share some experience after using the Red Sea AEDs? Did you notice the light outcome from each light slightly different than each other? No, that's genuinely the truth. I've never noticed any difference between the two lights. I didn't even know that was a thing. Is that a thing? If that's a thing, obviously let me know. But as I said, I was unaware. I actually measured it with a PAR meter, so I know exactly. I know the exact PAR across the entire tank, and it's actually pretty even from top to bottom. So the only thing that I would potentially do would be to have 3. And the only reason I would have 3 rather than 2 is because, well, I mean, look, 2 is fine, but the reason I have 3 is because someone who may possibly be in the chat right now called Nasty Nemo, he has 3 on his tank, and he recommends it. So, and we have exactly the same tank. So that's the only reason I would get 3. The other thing that I'm going to do soon is I'm going to, which side is it? So obviously I've got the wave maker, which I actually do really like, and I'm going to have another one put on that side. I love how professional I am with the wire just hanging there, but it's just temporary. Right. At some point in time, I think the lights may go off because it's usually, I say, it's dark at this time, or at least it's on the moonlight mode. So I've got it set, but I think it only stays for an hour. So it's possible the lights might turn off at some point. I don't even know how long I've been going for. 18 years old and they allowed you to have a reef tank. I would assume most parents would be wondering when you would be moving out. It's very, very expensive to move out in this country, unfortunately. I don't know if you're from this country, but it's very expensive. And I think I moved out when I was 21 originally, into a rented place, but I didn't have my own house until much later. Loving the tank behind you. Thank you. I have been looking forward to an update video. As I said, you will get an update video. As soon as there's something interesting to show you, I will give you an update video. Let's have a look. Next one. You're not the only one. My marine tank struggles with the heat. I've got 3 cheap fans on eBay. Fans are absolutely brilliant. I underestimated exactly how good that fan was. I bought that fan years ago for a frag tank that I had at the office. And then it didn't, I never actually ended up setting that tank up. I was set up very briefly, but it was too much hassle because taking water backwards and forwards and to the office wasn't fun. People in the office liked it, although it made the office very humid. So, but I got the fan for there, and I never ended up using it. But it's been an absolute lifesaver. I've had a result with RO ice cubes to keep the tank cool. Yes. The other thing I used to do, but not so much anymore, was because it was fill up, I think 1.5 litre bottles with RO water and then freeze them. So that also works well. Thank you again too, please. I've only just got down to your second super chat. There's a dislike for you as well, brother. Get that engagement. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Phil. Greatly appreciated. I hope you're not the person that disliked and then took the dislike off, because someone did that a minute ago, and that, you know, that hurts. That hurts. You're going to give me that engagement. Hello from Canada. Hello from England. Someone a minute ago was saying, how is Pablo? And you may not have got the memo. Pablo, who I had for a very, very long time, unfortunately passed away. I think I don't know what it was. I did mention it has been mentioned in a previous video. He had some damage to his body, which I think possibly, he was below the wave maker, so it looks like at some point possibly he got stuck to it. They aren't the strongest swimmers. I have no idea what it was, and like there are certain fish when you lose them that it really hurts. And I think if I lost Lily, my Regal Angel, it would be exactly the same. And Pablo was a very low point for me when I found him. And I literally, I took him out. He was still alive when I found him. As I said, he had damage and he was on his side. And he couldn't swim very well, but I put him in the sump where there was no flow at all. And I held him up and I was literally feeding him pellets, which he was eating. But about 20, and then I took it, and then I think I brought him here, which was dangerous because obviously it could have caused this tank an issue, but at the time this tank was very new, and I wanted to keep an eye on him for hours and hours and hours to see if I could, you know, make a difference. But unfortunately, the next morning he passed away, and it's part of the hobby. Unfortunately, we try our best to. Oh, there you go. I told you it would go off at some point. 1 second, let me go put it back on for you. Oh, we're back. We try our best, obviously, was what I was saying, we try our best to do our best for the fish that we keep. And although non-fish people don't understand it, we do grow attached to them, and they get names, they have personalities, and they become the star of your YouTube channel. It was exactly the same as obviously when Inappropriate lost his frogfish. It hurts. I did film some footage of him, but I never got round to, like, I didn't really want to do a video of him dying for you all to see, if you see what I mean. It's still on my phone, but it's just, as I said, it's not, you can see that it actually it affects you. But as I said, unfortunately, when you've been in this hobby long enough, these things happen. Maybe the person who pressed the dislike just got bored of the like button, possibly. Let's have a look. Can someone recommend me a UK marine aquarium forum? Thank you. I actually don't use any forums at all. Occasionally I'll obviously search for something and then it will come up. And then obviously once it's, it will just come up with Reef to Reef. I like Reef to Reef a lot. I used to be on it more. I used to be on it more often, but I haven't done that recently. But they have a really nice community. Generally, I don't know. It might have changed over the last couple of years, but Oliver Blackhall is correct. Facebook groups usually are better. Gabe's here. You know, you might have sent that message ages ago, but I've only just got down to it. Gabe, you know, Gabe is another person I met at, I think it was Reefapalooza, Orlando. Yeah, it was hurricane season, or it was the hurricane one. I don't know what it was called. It was a Hurricane Dorian. That was an interesting experience for someone that's never experienced a hurricane before. Hi Luke, all good, thank you. Do you have a chained SS dagger? I do not have a chained SS dagger. I'm not sure what that means. Someone might have to describe what that means to me. Two please delete the message. I like to go back and read the messages which have been deleted, but just to see how bad they are. No, it's not overly bad. We're allowed some, like some. I want to start my own show. it's usually the swear words or the nasty comments which get removed, but also Coral Shed is coming along. As I said, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I did cover it quite a lot a minute ago. What do you think of the smallest aquarium size to begin with? Look, I started with a 400 litre tank. I had I think a 20 litre tank. At one point, I hated it. They're not as stable. They fill up too quickly. It didn't last. I wouldn't do it again. So, like, I don't believe, other than this one, and this is a 425, but obviously after you take out like the equipment and the water and everything, I think it comes out to about 380 litres. Well, obviously once you take out the rock, or account for the rock, but I don't think that I would go for less than 400. But you have to go for the biggest one you can afford, because if you can't afford it, you won't. If you can't, I'm not saying if you can't afford the tank, then you're not gonna be able to afford to keep it running either. So you got to go with what you can afford and just stick to what you know, basically, and well, not necessarily not what you know. So I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to say. It's I am too hot. It's like, pick a tank which is the biggest one that you can afford, not just to buy, but also to keep running, because obviously there is a continuous running cost, which is reasonably expensive with a marine tank. Burnout is real, absolutely. Burnout is absolutely real, and something I've had. You can actually notice it physically on people's faces, because something that a lot of people sent me a message going, "You look ill," and that was when I thought, I need to stop. I need a break. So, I want to. Where are we? All in one, or did you buy parts separately? My original tank I bought all separately. All in one is good for a beginner. It's more expensive, but it's also it sort of resolves. That's the best thing about the Red Sea tank. Like, you have the lights, skimmer, power heads, the tank itself. It's like you don't need to think. The skimmer is appropriately sized for this tank. The power heads are appropriately sized for this tank. The lights, if you follow what they say, have the appropriate spread for this tank. Therefore, it makes it easier for a beginner. It is definitely more expensive. You can do things cheaper if you buy in parts. You can do them even cheaper if you buy them second hand. Everything that I have ever bought, that's not okay. Before it's like, I'm not sure whether they say put this. The majority of stuff that I bought was second hand, especially at the beginning. In fact, everything at the beginning was second hand. I couldn't afford to buy a brand new thing. Obviously, the things now are different, because I have a loan and it's money to spend. And when you have the money like this, but got to pay it back at some point. So I'll get there. But yeah, so I obviously have some newer things. But before obviously starting this process, pretty much everything was always second hand. With a sump, I would always have a sump. I would never ever have a tank without a sump. You can run a tank perfectly fine without a sump. My first tank didn't have a sump, but once you have a sump, it's so much easier. Everything's just easier. It gives you a place to hide the heaters, the pumps. It gives you more water volume. I wouldn't run a tank without a sump again. Although it is entirely possible, and you get beautiful tanks that do run without sumps. Let's have a look. Where are we? I prefer bigger tanks, especially with beginners. That's correct. It looks like Two Please is having his own conversation. I think we need to get him on. If I knew how to put someone else on here with me, so because I'm not that interesting, I would. I definitely would. Two Please is definitely someone I would get on. I just don't know how. I'm not particularly skilled with technology, so I'm not. So I haven't. Although I might ask Aaron's Aquarium, because I'm pretty sure he knows how to do it. Also look for second-hand tanks. Correct. how are you doing? If you don't remember, I'm the guy we met at Mayhead Aquatics. You were helping me with the fish for my aquarium. Yes, Luke, I always remember you. I know your name now because I see it come up obviously on Instagram as well sometimes. Luke reminds me, Luke who's in the chat at the moment, if he's still here, reminds me of me when I was younger. So I don't know how old he is, I don't want to offend him, but he's probably, I'm going to say he's under 18. I'm pretty sure he's under 18, but I don't know, that might be wrong. I'm not that good with ages, but he got his first marine tank, I believe, this year. And I first met him in one of the shops, and he was so excited to get coral. He was so excited to get coral, and I remember literally saying to him, because there were mushrooms and they were brown, and he really wanted these brown mushrooms, which is fine. If you want brown mushrooms, then and they're your thing, then get brown mushrooms. By all means, buy whatever you want, but I had a thing that his inexperience he may not have realised that you get like bright green mushrooms rather than brown mushrooms. But I always have to be careful because I never discourage someone from buying something unless I have good reason to. Sometimes one of the most annoying things which ever happened to me, someone wanted to buy a harlequin filefish, and people would have heard me speak about this before. And it was his first fish for his marine tank. And if you don't know what a harlequin filefish is, filefish, yeah. They are, Google them and have a look. They're really pretty fish, but they don't do well in captivity, and they especially don't do well feeding. And the shop was more than happy to sell them this fish because they know what they're doing and they want to get it out as quickly as possible because it's more likely to survive in someone else's tank. And I actively encourage this man not to buy this fish. And people don't like it. They don't like it if you say to them, look, you're not ready for this. If you had a tank that was set up, by all means, I mean, they eat coral, so like that's their main diet. But he took it really offensively, and he left with the fish. And I don't think I've ever been more frustrated in a fish shop in my entire life than that moment, and that's why it sticks with me. And I won't mention the shop that sold it to him. It's still going. I don't actually go there anymore, but it's about shops need to be responsible too, because obviously if the shops are responsible and the fish doesn't die and they have a fish that survives, that person then stays in the hobby longer. Because apparently the hobby on average has a 1 year lifespan, and this is why you get so much secondhand stuff. If you think about it, people go out there, they buy loads and loads of expensive stuff, and then after a year they put it on eBay. There are some unbelievable deals to have, and things like LED lights, they last for a long time. They last for a long time, or they should last for a long time if they're obviously good quality. I've had some of I definitely had some lights for like 6 or 7 years, I think, without changing them. I didn't even clean them. I'm the laziest reefer. Right. My tank was actually, seen if I can, fully set up. It's okay to talk to yourself. Yeah, when you live by yourself, I think you talk to yourself quite a lot. Go for a sump. Even a hand on the back sump for a nano is great, also correct. All the love in here tonight, guys, please. I want to have a nice pico tank with some amazing bounce mushrooms. Ugh. I think pico tanks are even worse than nano tanks. I do actually have some nice bounce mushrooms. As I said, they're a little bit closed because the light's probably stronger than it usually is. But I've got some down here. I've actually got a little tiny baby one. It's probably about this big. I'm gonna see if I can grow it out much bigger. What's the yellow light on the left side of the tank? I have to have a look at what the yellow light on the left side of the tank is. Oh, that's my oven. Not my oven. That's the light just above my the hob, and it's just reflecting in the. It is surprisingly difficult to film videos on this tank. Every time you see a video on this tank, you have to appreciate how difficult it is to get rid of all the reflections when I have double glass doors there and double windows there. So all the time, and obviously any light. To film on this tank, I basically have to turn all the lights off and film it in the dark. So whenever you see, that's a little, little insider Red Sea tank knowledge for you. Lovely, you get frags too, you might make a lot of extra cash to fund the hobby. That is true. I have basically funded pretty much all of this, as well as obviously paying off the loan for the mega build with frags. Someone once said to me that, and they actually have a coral farm themselves, they say it's growing the coral, once you get to a certain level, is the easy part. Selling the coral is the hard bit. So anyone who is thinking about going into something similar to obviously what I'm doing, it's not the growing bit. A lot of people have a little bit of success growing coral and they sell some on eBay or on Facebook, and they go, right, I want to leave my job, I'm going to do this forever. But unfortunately, a lot of startup companies, not so much over here because it's not done as much over here, which is why there's a bit more of an open market for me to go into. But in America, apparently people don't usually last more than a year before they go back to their other jobs. I've spoken to a lot of coral farms. Obviously the big ones make huge success of it, but it takes them a long time to get to that level. And a lot of the smaller guys, they have a good winter because that's when everyone's buying corals because they're in their houses and they think, oh yeah, this is going to be brilliant. And then summer's dead. And then they've got to pay bills in their bills in the summer, and they go, like, I can't survive on the amount I'm making because I'm not making as much as I was in the winter. So you need to put a lot of thought if you're going to have your own coral farm. I don't know how far down I am now. I actually have thought of an all Euphilia tank before. One of the ground tanks on the mega build might be all Euphilia. I've obviously got a few here that are good, but the problem with Euphilia, again, in coral farms, they're not the fastest growing coral. So if you're looking to grow coral quickly to make profit, Euphilias aren't, and they're not also the highest. Obviously, some of the SPS go for crazy amounts of money and they grow reasonably quickly. So those are the ones that hopefully I'll be focusing on. 6-line rest. Damn man, sorry to hear about Pablo. That sucks. Yes. Are they jumpers? RAS. I don't know if there was a specific mention of what RAS, but RAS are jumpers. There is a net on this tank, but. You can tell in the comment section where you're at because everyone's going, RIP Pablo. Pablo was a YouTube star, yes. Pablo, he was also quite a character. And when you have a fish that's difficult to keep, that other people struggle to keep, and you somehow manage to keep them alive, I maintain that I believe it was his diet, which is what kept him going for so long. It is hard. Rastas and gobies are jumpers, that is correct. Telegram's here. Telegram is one of my favourite fellow YouTubers. He puts out some really, you'll see my excitement, he puts out some really, really interesting content. And it's always well thought out. It's always scientifically accurate. He tests things. It's not like, there's more behind Telegram's stuff, because he's smarter than me. And I always tell him this, there's more like data to back things up. I can look at a tank and go, yeah, that's doing well, yes, that's not doing well, yes, that coral looks different in this tank compared to my other tank or whatever. Whereas Telegram puts a lot of, he tries to, like experiments basically, is probably the best way to put it, to back up his data or his, or what he's seeing. Or he tries to understand why. He also has amazing hair, although I think he just cut that off. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen that Telegram, Reef Girl, and myself were all having a who can grow the longest hair during the lockdown. I gave in first. Look, Telegram had a hairband. I was never going to win. So, but yeah, if you don't know him, go look at his channel. He was also really, really helpful. He might hate me saying this because I always say this, and people probably go and ask him questions. He helped me setting up the Proflux, which was really, really useful because I made a mistake while setting up, and he basically helped me solve the problem. What do you think the Red Sea ADs, and do they grow SPS? The Red Sea ADs do grow SPS corals. They grow all corals from what I've experienced. I have a whole different range of corals. Master Marine, sorry if this was ages ago. I've only just seen, obviously, you've done a super chat, and his super chat says he's got to go. I'll send you a message later. I'm assuming you're not here anymore. Yeah, I'll send you a personal message later saying thank you. And Two Please as well is just Two Please. It's like he's the $2.99 king. Two Please, but you know, every so often he wants to up his he increases the amount to outdo someone else. I think it's a bit of rivalry going on. So thank you again, Two Please. You always know that I can never thank you enough. Let's have a look. Second-hand tanks for the win. Frags can fund tanks eventually get some nice Zoas. I actually bought 10 new Zoa frags. I don't know if you can see. Oh, yeah, you must be able to see them. They are here. These range in price from sort of like £4 a head all the way up to £70 a head. I've never been a massive Zoa fan because I used to have, or in my other tank I have Aquarium Starfish. And for whatever reason, they sit on them. I'm assuming they're eating them, but Zoas never did well in my other tank. But the best thing about Aquarium Starfish is that they're reasonably difficult to transfer between one tank from one tank to the next if you know what you're looking for. So this tank's obviously been running a while now, and I've never seen a single Astorina in there. And obviously the Zoas all do well. So there's obviously a big difference. In my other tank, I did have a Harlequin shrimp, which ate the majority of them. Unfortunately, I believe it. I know. Did it either? No, I don't think it died. Actually, I don't, because I passed it on to another reefer. Yeah, that was it. It started to eat one of my starfish. Like, they lived fine together for a long time, probably because it was eating all these little, probably bite-sized starfish for it, and then it went, you know what? I'm gonna take a bite out of a serpent starfish, which they're not meant to go for, which is what. So I always kept an eye on them. To see how they would do. Which Tang is the easiest? Good question. Any of the Zebrasoma Tangs I like. Oh, I've just lost where I was. That's not good. Where was I? Oh, no, this is not good. Oh, there I am, yeah. Which Tang is the easiest? Yeah, any Zebrasoma Tangs. So, Pacific Sailfin, Desjardins Sailfin, Yellow, Scopas, Koi, if you classify them, although I'm pretty sure they're a hybrid. Black, Gem, and I'm sure I've missed one, because there's seven normal ones. What one have I missed? Purple Tang, yes. So there's 7 Zebrasoma Tangs, and then the Koi Tangs, I believe, I'm not entirely sure, but they are known to hybridize. Can they be considered the 8th? Probably not. The one on the wall surrounded by a frame. Don't know what. I would stay away from all Acanthurus tangs. This tank has quite a few Acanthurus tangs. Don't go anywhere near the powder blues. They're a pain. I quite like my Mimic Tang. My Mimic Tang's been good as gold. She's changed colour a lot. But yeah, my Mimic Tang is good as gold. But yeah, I usually advise people to steer clear of Acanthurus. When you've been in the hobby as long as me, you look for something to make things more exciting for you. So I thought, you know what, I'll have a tank for Acanthurus tangs. They're good algae eaters, and they'll eventually go in the mega build. So convict tangs would be one of the worst to keep, because I've got one in the other tank, but it would be it would be one of the worst. For survival rate, just because they don't eat. They get skinny really quickly. Let's have a look. And also someone who's 18 years old. Macroalgae in the sump to maintain tank. Nasty Nemo's here. Welcome, Nasty Nemo. You know, a bit late to the party. Usually you complain. You know, you're like, when's the next video come out? But at least you're here. Look, Nasty Nemo is going to be my new supplier of bounce mushrooms. What happens is I sell them to him, then I sell most of mine, and now he's going to sell the ones I sold to him probably back to me for a 99% discount. Let's hope so. He doesn't know about the discount yet, but it's but we'll see. Harlequin tusks are beautiful for the aquariums. Which Tang is easiest? Obviously, I just answer that. Sailfins are easiest also. Can you ship to the States? We unfortunately can't ship to the States. I think that probably was a joke too, please. But yeah, in the UK we can't ship to the States. Don't get yellow tang. Problem with Zebrazoa tangs is they're reasonably, or all tangs, some of them could be territorial. Which tang is your favourite, or which other fish is your favourite? The favourite fish I have at the moment is Lily, my regal angel. Yeah, I absolutely love my regal angel. But I think I like fish that where you get them and then they surprise you. So I bought Lily the regal angel the same day that I bought a clam. I was obviously being reckless that day. Regal angels had the highest success rate with regards to corals. She never touched the clam. She's never touched any corals either, and I've had her probably about nearly 3 years now. Yeah, probably 3 years, and she's been good as gold. I bet when I move her out of that tank into the mega build that she will probably go rogue and eat everything, because when growing coral matters with whether you can pay your electricity bill, that's when she'll start eating it, because she'll start eating into my profits. I think it will be difficult to get rid of her if I have to. I'd probably try her in several different tanks, because each tank's going to have something different in it, and then see what happens. So, which tank is your favourite? We know you're lazy, yes. Like, I never deny that I would be one of the laziest reefers. I had SPSO, need to sell more, they grow too fast. The British Tooth Tang variety. Josh Powell's here. Josh is another person that, again, I've met in person many times. I choose to go and see him. If Josh buys coral from me, I actually go and drop it to his house because I actually enjoy seeing him so much. Yes, I've met some really genuinely nice people in this hobby. You get some not so nice people, but I'm sure that's everything. Are you going to put an Emperor Angel in it? No, there'll be no Emperor Angels. I had an Emperor Angel once. It ate everything. I even tested it in the fish shop. I put coral in its tank, like different types of coral. The fish shop let me do basically whatever I wanted at the time. You can see that it's still so hot that I'm sweating, which is why I keep touching my face. The fish shop let me put coral in with their, with the Emperor Angel. It was a little tiny, like, the little blue juveniles. I didn't touch anything while in the shop. Put it in my tank at home. Within an hour, it was going for everything. Acans, mushrooms. It was like having a feast. Usually they just go for one specific type of coral, but rather than that, they went for lots of different ones. Right. I like leather corals. I have got a newfound appreciation for leather corals because the best thing about the mega build is that I'm now buying corals, which, as I said, if you have corals which you think I'll be interested in, let me know. Because if you've got something special, I'd love to buy some from you. Obviously, you have to be in the UK, but I'll even send you all the shipping stuff and everything like that, so you can send it to me, and it would be obviously at my risk. I have a newfound appreciation for corals, which I haven't had appreciation for a long time, because I'm looking at corals which not necessarily I want, but I think other people would buy. And then, so I've got a few different bright green leather corals, which are good. Do you recommend any branded tanks other than Red Sea? I have never had a branded tank other than this one. All my other tanks were second-hand, and they were all custom built for the people that sold them. So one of them was something like £2,000, which I bought, I think, for £400. So you can get some great deals. No More Hair had an interview for a new job. You know, we all make these sacrifices. Puff is the reason why I love saltwater tanks. What is the strangest fish you've ever had? Pablo probably was the strangest fish that I ever had, which was the boxfish. The red serpent starfish is doing well. He feeds all the time. Every time I put food in, it comes out. When I shut down the 1,000 litre tank, it's going to get some new tank mates, because I've got a banded serpent starfish and I've got a black serpent starfish in there as well. Puffish, do they eat corals? Puffish will eat corals, some types, not all of them. Some, you might get a good one. The ones that are classified as tobies or like jewel puffers are better ones. Always happy. Your tank is 4 foot. Yeah, this tank is 4 foot. The tank at my other house, or not my other house, my parents' house is 6 foot. I have a 50 litre tank with what fish would you recommend for eating algae? 50 litres is not a lot for an algae eating fish. Some people would say algae blennies, but they have a habit of starving. You're better off trying to deal with the algae in a different way. And the reason the algae is growing is because you have high nutrients of some sort. So my assumption was, because the tank volume is only small, you've probably got reasonably high nitrates or phosphates for that volume of tank. So 2 please, see you later. I've only just seen that you are, I don't know if you're still here or not, but once again, thank you, and I'll send you a message later. Discount, wash your mouth out. Look, I'll be getting a significant discount, don't you worry. I got, you haven't seen my mad negotiation skills yet. Plus, you got a massive discount when you bought them from me. Are you getting enough par from the Red Sea ADs? I've heard they are on the weaker side. I actually get about 200, like here's about 250 around mid-range, which is ideal. It's like it's a bit higher up, it's a bit lower and down, but generally speaking, they have a pretty even spread. There you go. Look, Telegram knows Telegram will tell you the exact par. They have narrow peaks apparently, and he will send you the data. This is what is great about Telegram. Telegram is like, I'm not sure old school is the right way of saying this, but he's one of those people that wants to share information with people. This hobby used to be built on friends and people giving frags to each other, and a lot of people still get free frags from me. Quite a lot of people. I'm pretty sure Josh Power is one of the people that confirmed that he's had free frags from me. And it's not unusual for people to buy a box of corals from me and then just free stuff to arrive. I never tell people. I like them for it to be a surprise for them, and then to get a message going, thank you, I didn't expect that. How do you choose food for your fishes? At the moment, it's based on how easy it is to feed them. So the tank at home is fed mysis, mainly nori and a range of pellets. At the moment, this one, the majority of the food that goes in this tank is pellet food, with some nori for the tanks, because it's really important that the tanks have some form of algae. If you saw the video a little while ago, I had an algae issue, and the reason the tanks are in there was to deal with that algae issue. So they were getting algae in a different form, if you see what I mean. You can get a couple of frags from me. The recorders are booming. Nice. I actually look forward to coming down to see you again soon, Josh, because you definitely have some nice stuff that I'm looking for. I will probably be here for, let's say, 15 more minutes, because then it will be an hour and a half. So I have no idea what the battery on my phone's doing, but hopefully it will last that long. But I'd like to give you like a 15-minute warning. I've had a really good time actually. I'm really glad that I came and did this. I know most of it's just incessant rambling, but for some reason, 78 people are still here watching that rambling. My clown eats algae when it feels like it. It's unusual. My clown doesn't eat algae. My clown only eats fingers. If you get too close to her, she likes to bite you. Word, have a good night, bro. Yep. Hi, Ryan, you're doing a great job. Thank you, you know. I like to read out this nice one. Have you set up the mega build yet? The mega build still has no water in it, but it will do. How often do you change water on your tank? The tank I'm going to go quickly through this to see if I can get to the end, because I don't want to miss anyone's questions. The tank at my parents' house gets 75 litres of water once a week. This one also gets 75 litres of water once a week, and that's because that one has been running for many, many years, and this one's reasonably new, so I have a higher water change on it. The tanks in the mega build will probably get a 200 litre water change either once or a week or once every 2 weeks. It depends on what corals are in there and how the corals are doing. I feel with tanks that you need to feel them out. You need to see, like, you get to a stage in the hobby where you sort of look at a coral and go, yes, that looks happy, or no, that doesn't look happy. So and the newer the tanks, the more water changes I like to do anyway. Me being one of them. Let's have a look. Look forward to another mega build update. Well, the next mega build update, I'm not going to promise anything, because as soon as I promise anything on the channel, people come back and go, you know, where's the update? Don't forget the likes, thanks Josh. Yep, you know, if everyone, hitting the either like or dislike button makes a massive difference, so if you want to click that button, it's greatly appreciated. Any tips on fungia plates? I have one that looks fine, then sometimes looks sickly. If green hair algae is growing on it, it's not a good sign. But yeah, it's generally not a good sign. It means that some of their tissue is receding. Feeding them, I find feeding them is good. And they're usually a coral that takes food reasonably well, as long as the other fish aren't stealing it from them. But fungi are usually pretty happy as long as they're on the sand. Her channel seems to have dried up. Mindy is still running her channel. This channel is the reason I have recently started buying coral. Nice. You know, hopefully soon you'll be able to start buying coral from me, because I've just seen Gabe. I always hit the I always hit the thumbs down, so you know I'm here. Yes, I always know Gabe's here when the thumbs down has been hit. Right, you have a 13-minute warning. I have hit the bottom of all the comments. So if you have any questions, now is the time. If you don't have any questions, it actually takes quite a lot out of you sitting and talking for an hour and a half, especially if you're not used to it, which I am not. So if there's anything you want to know, now's the time to ask. If not, I might reduce that 13-minute warning down to like 5 minutes, because I don't want to, like, you know, bore people. I'm trying to think to see if there's what new corals are in the tank. I suppose I've got a couple of cabbage corals which came from my other tank. This is what I mean by I'm looking for corals which I believe other people will be interested in, which I wouldn't necessarily have in my tank, so usually. But green cabbage coral, furry green mushrooms have been a huge seller. This is a currently grumpy green toadstool. It's got polyps out slightly. Obviously the zoas are on this side, but yeah, that's Reef Dog's here. I've just seen. How are you looking so young at 50? Trust me, sometimes I feel like I'm 50. That is very good advice what Josh said. If your plate coral dies, don't throw out the skeleton. I actually bought part of a skeleton of a fungia, and it's down here, little tiny, and at the moment it's got this little tiny fungia on it. And I know, well, obviously I knew at the time I bought it that what happens is it has like, the mother colony when it dies then creates like these little, I'm not really sure what to call them, like spawning plates. And then after a while, a little baby will start to appear on it. And then once that one falls off, another one will appear, and another one will appear. That one there is, I think, on its fourth. So it really is a truly aquacultured fungia. And the one that's there, the first one that came off of it, yeah, in this tank I've got 3 of them. The first one is there, which is about this big, and then the smallest one is about this big. And then another one of them I sold on the website. Check on the bottom. I'll be honest, I ever throw thumbs on videos even if I don't agree, because give a participation award. That's very good of you, because not everyone does that. So, Reef Dog's here. Who's my favourite YouTuber? Can I include myself? No, I'm just joking. I actually am not my favourite YouTuber. I don't watch an awful lot of saltwater aquarium YouTube videos. I don't watch as many as I used to. I pop in every now and again on Reef Dogs. He knows, because I like to send him a picture on my big TV, a picture of him to show that I'm there watching. Aaron's Aquarium is someone, again, I get on really well with Michael, that I like to pop in every now and again. I used to watch a lot of inappropriate reefers. I don't have the time, if it's the honest. I don't have time. I don't watch any YouTube videos. I don't even watch any TV really. So So if other YouTubers are here, don't be offended. Every so often, what I'll do is I sort of do a mix and match, where it's I'm guilty of the same as everyone else. If it's got an interesting thumbnail, an interesting title, chances are I'll watch it. I watched Reef Builder's most recent one, and I also have watched Coralfish 12G's recent one as well, which is, and I haven't watched his videos for a long time, but that was actually quite an interesting one. Show us the zoas. Where did you buy them from? Secret, Josh. I got a secret supplier. You know, I can't be giving away my secret suppliers, can I? Did Pablo ever touch coral? He did not. Gabe just asked something. Who is your? Where's it gone? Oh, there was no. I got caught up with the messages, and all of a sudden there's been an influx of loads of messages. Did Pablo ever touch any coral? Never. No, never ever. He was as good as gold. He didn't touch a single piece. Would I recommend you get one? Absolutely not. Would I get another one? Probably not. Although, never say never. I've had some real awful boxfish that have eaten loads of coral. The only ones that seems to have been all right, even the cowfish, you know, was a pain in the ass. The only one Pablo was the only one that's been all right. If you're going to get a fish which potentially eats coral, make sure you have a way of getting it out of the tank. That is the most important thing, because once it's in there, you have trouble. So don't buy a fish, put it in the coral tank, and then go, oh, it's eating my corals. What do I do now? I have to strip everything down. Or make sure you have a fish trap and that you have room to get that fish trap in, and the fish is likely to go into a fish trap, because not all fish will. The reason the powder blue tang is in here is because my Scopus tang would not go in. I tried for weeks to get the Scopus tang from my other tank to get in there. The powder blue tang used to like dance in there and eat the food, and I would put the trap in before the food went in. It got so used to it, it would go in. Whereas the Scopus tang would not go in at all. So just because you see me with not reef safe fish, does that mean that people should do it? No. Should I be doing it? Probably not. But yeah, always make sure you have an out, because otherwise you'll be in trouble. Are you looking to get any exclusive corals that nobody has in the United Kingdom? If no one has them in the United Kingdom, the chances are it means they're very difficult to get. I'd like to, well, we'll see. Like, I will have some rarer bits. I will have obviously some more common bits. I want to be able to cater for everyone. It's like what some of the coral I'm looking for now. I'm actually genuinely really excited to buy green star polyps. I saw a cool idea where people actually have it on this mesh and it's clipped to the side of the tank so it doesn't grow like around the other coral, and it just grows on the mesh on the wall. And then when you want to frag it, you just cut the mesh up and then sell that to people. So it's much easier than obviously letting it grow on a rock and having to frag the rock. So look, I'm excited about the most basic corals at the moment, and that genuinely, green star polyps is what I'm looking to get at the moment. Are you running Red Sea 80 lights? These are these the 90 lights? I don't know if there are 80s. Well, Josh, don't start talking to Reef Talk. That's not how it works. What's all that 50s talk? We now have 50, those rainbow baby fungias are also coming to me. I also want those, and I also want those for a 99% discount as well. Regal angels are picky eaters. How do you manage it? I'll be honest with you, the regal angel fish that I got was eating at the shop, and then the best thing to do is put it in with a load of fish that are also eating a whole range of other foods, because fish learn from each other. It might sound crazy, but they do. They absolutely learn from each other. And that's how I got it to eat so many different things. Do you know anything that will eat vermitid snails? I believe bumblebee snails eat vermitid snails, but it's not 100%. You can see my voice is starting to go a bit hoarse. As I said, I'm not used to sitting here talking for an hour and a half. We all need to go to the show. Yeah, I'm having like show withdrawal symptoms. Tell me about it. I can't wait to go to a show again. I went to so many in 1 year that you, by the end of it, you go, you know, I've been to lots of them now. Like I went to, I think 5, and a lot of them are quite similar. And now a year later, I'm like, I'm so desperate to go back. Man, a favorite YouTuber, that's a tough one. Yeah, that is true. We'll make babies with dying, correct? You watch mine, right? Of course, I watch every one of your videos, Nasty Nemo. Nasty Nemo, actually, I need to do a massive thank you to him, because a lot of the corals which were in the feeding video, like the big trackies and stuff like that, were actually his corals. I don't have a lot of big, exciting corals which like do stuff when they when you feed them. So he helped me with and sent me some of the clips for his video. Do you have any problems with overheating because of the weather? Yes, although the fan has significantly helped with that. I really need to remove my Coral Beauty. Coral Beauty, that was another fish that took me weeks to catch. I also had a flame angel. I had a pair of flame angels which used to spawn every single night, and the male went into the trap, and then I couldn't catch the female. So I'd separated the male. And I did everything to catch the female, it just wouldn't work. So what I did is I got the male and I put the male in a little box and put the box inside the trap, and the female went in immediately. I don't know if she went in to attack it or because it was her lover, but it worked. So sometimes you have to think, you got to outsmart the fish. The more I drink, the more people's brains fall asleep. Yeah. I have done a couple of drinking videos on here. Not drinking, I've never been drunk on here, but they usually go a bit smoother. Mark Levison, again, another YouTuber, that's Me Levs Reef, who I met him in person. Really, really nice guy. Genuinely really nice guy. I have lots of GSP of all types. That's what I want. I want green star polyps of all types. There you go. Josh will get me some. And so people are going, I've got green star polyps. Do you have... I don't have any pink Netfia. I'm trying to decide on the lighting system for the new build, and it's killing me. The best person to talk to about lighting would be, again, Telegram. It would be the best person to talk to about lighting. A lot of people can have their own thoughts. I've had the Hydra 52s, I've had the Primes, I've had the Radions, I've had the Red Sea lights. They're all slightly different. If to the average reefer, you won't be able to tell the difference most of the time. The corals do grow slower or faster, and there are better lights, 100%. But some people have great growth from really cheap lights, and some people have growth from really expensive lights. Has the fan fallen in the tank? You might want to check it. No, not yet. It's meant to be like that. Actually, nah. It's a bit. I think it's a bit more. It's a bit more. It's a bit more angled than it's meant to be. Michael was talking about getting drunk on YouTube. Look, tell Michael if he gets drunk on YouTube, I'll join him. I'm hoping you're talking about Aaron's aquarium. Otherwise, it's just some random guy called Michael. It's been those. Right. What is the time? The time is, unfortunately, that's it. That's it for today. I'll give you a 1 minute timer. So I'd like to say, thank you for everyone who joined. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know if you got an update on the mega build really. I don't know if I answered your frequently asked questions. I might need to change. Yes, if it was Aaron's aquarium, then yeah, I'll tell him that if he can set it up, I'll join him for a drink. Have you been on the panel for lighting versus Kessel, Alex? Also, Ryan, I'm after this to supplement my radions. Any ideas? I don't know a lot about Kessel. A lot of people like Kessel lights, but I don't know a lot about them. I'd rather tell you. If I don't know something, I'd rather just say, look, I don't know. It's impossible for me to know everything because I am not Telegram, and Telegram knows everything. Because Telegram, one of his sayings is "knowing is half the battle," whereas I have a new saying. Telegram knowing is 97.5% of my battle. So he's the guy that I go to if I need anything. So look, Telegram's coming for a drink too. Right. As I said, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this live stream, and you never know, I might do it more often. So see you later. Right, I'm going to be really professional. I have to get up and move and get round to turn it off. Okay, you get one last little view of the tank.